And welcome, ladies and gents, to the first episode of the All American Kayak Series podcast, Dock Talk. As if you've been following us, the True Patriot Outfitters podcast we had kind of spliced off a little bit here and there and did a few episodes in that case. Enough feedback, man, and enough viewership there has kind of deemed that having the All American have its own podcast here, its own or slash video log, if you will. It was warranted. So this one you're going to be seeing, we're going to be airing these on Tuesdays bi-weekly. So twice a month we'll have these podcasts that will come out. We'll talk fishing, we'll talk All American, talk about the places we're going. And one of the major aspects of the whole thing we want to do on Dock Talk, man, is angler interviews. Get a chance just to highlight the anglers that fish with us out there, highlight anglers that are in the industry making noise across the entire sport of kayak fishing, not just with the All American, but with the other series out there as well. Give a chance to get those sponsors some spotlight with that piece, and just get to know, who we're fishing against out there. So, in that vein, dude, we're coming out the gate swinging here with our first guest, who we have here this evening. How about none other than the T.O.C. champ himself, Mr. Brady Storrs? Let's go ahead and bring Brady in. What's happening, buddy? How you doing, man?
Good.
How's it feel being called champ?
It
right?
it doesn't feel like I'm deserving of that. I've kind of just been a dirty kayaker up here in the Midwest for, almost all my life now. So to be called the champ doesn't really sound right.
Well, calling you dirty champ ain't gonna work. So we're just gonna go with champ, man. That's dude, you deserve it, man. You earned it. That's not an easy deal to pull off what you pulled off there. And especially in that field of individuals that you had to crawl through, scratch by to get your way where you're at, man. So congratulations on that, of course. That's a huge deal. And thank you for coming here, dude, hanging with us.
I am super excited to do anything I can to help grow the All American series because the only reason I was able to go to Tournament of Champions, even to just qualify, let alone win it, was competing against all these Midwest hammers my whole career so far. Having to compete against Workmans, against Tyler Coles, against those kinds of people have made me the fisherman that I am. So I have to say thank you to the Midwest.
Yeah, man. It's the flyover states. It's blue collar America. It's what the All American is built on. Is that there's enough of us out here. I'm on the Western Midwest, side out here in Colorado, so we're still considered Midwest, but it's everything's 12 hours for me to get to good water there. But yeah, we're still there. And dude, you get quite the resume coming out of Nebraska, brother. I mean, there's a few guys that have few people. I shouldn't say just guys. There's a few anglers coming out of Nebraska that are pretty that have made some noise. So you got a good pedigree there for sure.
Yeah, we definitely like to poke fun at, and we pride ourselves in being the top Midwest state. Mainly poking at the Iowa guys is
Right?
kind of what the deal is.
I've noticed that. I had a chance to hang out with a bunch of those Iowa guys, get to know them, and now I'm proud to call them my friends. And so yeah, I've noticed that there's a lot of border wars, that go on
Mhm.
there. It's pretty cool to watch.
Well, our not this past year, but the year prior, the Nebraska state champion was an Iowan. It was Jordan Westerman. So that just doesn't really fit right. So they come and take some stuff from us, and we go take some stuff from them every once in a while.
And at the end of the day, it's awesome for the sport, man. It picks things up. It helps us grow. And you get those, especially when there's good water to go fish. We here at the Colorado Kayak Bassmasters, I fish with that group quite a bit, and we jump into Nebraska.
Mhm.
Usually twice a year, we'll go over to Red Willow. It's about 3-4 hours from us here from the metro area, and we go there just because it's good fishing, man, and it's way
Mm.
better than what we got out here in most
Yeah.
cases. It's fun to hunt, greens and know that every cast there's a shot at a 4 or 5 pounder. It's going to come out of that water, a 20 incher, 22 incher, can come out of Red Willow.
Mhm.
That's fun because we don't get that here in the state of Colorado, man. We're
Yeah.
we're chasing brownies all day long. So yeah, man, it's Nebraska's definitely known there. So Well, before we get too much further here, I just wanted to get a chance, like I had told you before we got rolling here. I don't know, and on purpose, I do this on purpose. I try not to get to know too much about the people, when I'm first getting to meet you, just because I think that's kind of cool to see the discovery piece there take place in the question line. So we know we've established you're from Nebraska. You grew up there, what, the Omaha area? Is that right?
I'm actually at Kearney,
Har
so
That's right.
I'm about 2.5 hours west from the east side of Nebraska.
Kearney Corn Festival, man. I know all about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Corn Days, or what's it called?
We have corn Husker Harvest Days.
Husker Harvest Days?
I don't know about corn days, but
Maybe it's Husker Harvest.
pretty much every day in Nebraska is corn day. So,
dude, I have traveled 80 so much between Colorado and Minnesota. I have family in Minnesota, so I've driven that. I could drive it blindfolded, and Kearney was always like my stopping point. And there was a couple times where I tried to stop there and I couldn't get a hotel because of the festival that was going on. All the damn hotels were booked up there, and I'm like, y'all really like your corn out here, man. My goodness.
Yep, that's what we have out here. Next time you come through Kearney, hit me up and we'll go fishing. I have lived here my whole life, so I have a few spots to go catch a couple.
That's awesome stuff. Oh yeah, yeah. Like I said, I make that trip a ton. So yeah, for sure. We'll have to hit you up on that. So you went through school right there. Did you go on to college? Do any of that?
No. I barely got through the required schooling, so I wasn't about to jump into more if I didn't have to.
Right. The volunteer stuff, no thanks.
Yeah. No,
I hear you, man. Awesome. And so when did you get started kayak fishing specifically? When did that start?
I think I was 12 or 13, and I didn't start doing tournaments till I was 4 or maybe the end of 13. I don't remember. But I heard of this guy named Kayak Jack, whose real name is Marty Hughes, the godfather
OG himself,
kayak fishing in the Midwest, as they say. And
hell yeah.
Got into some of his youth tournaments that he puts on, and we just got hooked immediately doing that.
Dude, that is so awesome. Marty's a good friend. He's been on the show a couple times, and yeah, man, that is super cool. So you got hooked in there with that piece. And was it Marty that kind of helped? When did you join in? We were talking about this. When did you join up with the Midwest Fishing Kayak Series, which kind of used to be the big dance in the Midwest for more than just a local event? I mean, Midwest, they covered a lot of states.
They were around more in like a multi-species type fashion and online type fashion. Even when I got into kayak fishing when I was like 12 or 13, so that would have been, like 2014 or something, or 2015. And so that 2018 year that lives infamously in all the Midwestern's minds, that's when it really took off and it changed because they started doing the live events and things.
Right.
And so yeah, I was around the Midwest Kayak Fishing Series, and then thankfully I was around that year that it really took off, and I'm really excited to see the All-American doing similar things because those were about the most fun tournament years I've had ever, because just traveling with buddies, you knew everybody, and it was a lot of fun.
There's something to be said for that, and people, of course, it's the big buzzword in our sport right now, mainly on the boat side. People, wonking and whining about, what it takes to compete at the high level, this and that. And I'm from a different school, basically, inside my head, where it's like, dude, if you're just now discovering what it's going to take to compete at that level and you're competing at that level, then you deserve what you get. You should have looked into that shit before you got there. It's like, so, but there is something to be understood with the fact that when you compete at the level that you compete at with HOBIE and so forth, I mean, there's a business to that. There's a work that goes with that. It's not you still try to keep, it's still fun, of course. You got to love the grind, right?
Hmm.
If you didn't love it, you wouldn't do it. But it's got a little more serious edge to it, right? When you're talking about what, dealing with the numbers you were dealing with there. You feel that?
Yeah, I personally take it as seriously as I can, kind of thinking like you're saying in kind of a business type mode. And I have a hard time with starting new things because I can never just do something. I have to do it like to the max. And when I picked up the kayak fishing thing, it went from youth tournaments into adult division tournaments very soon after, into regional tournaments, and then I wanted to go to national tournaments. I mean, just a year or two after I learned about kayak fishing. So I've always been super serious about it.
Nice.
And like the Hobie Bass Open Series, that is a place that you can get your fix of going and hanging out with your friends, but also that serious competitiveness,
Yeah.
competing for real money. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's the, Bassmaster and Hobie are the premier leagues for sure out there. I mean, they
Hmm.
got the name, they got the draw. That's where it's at. All American. We obviously cater to a section of the area, and we came to the group, decision. Josh leading the way with this, that we're going to get comfy in our own skin, man, and just the fact that we're not a professional series here, and we're cool with that.
Hmm.
We want these to be events that people remember, they have a good time, and yeah, they do win good money. Our
Hmm.
payout percentages are as good as any series out there. If you look
Yeah.
at what we pay out for entry, but the difference is we try to keep it a little bit more affordable. We're working out deals, to try to really focus on the angler more. And like you said, just to, we want to make sure people have the memories like you have, man, of the fact that these are some of the most fun events they get a chance. And yeah, they're going to go against some damn good anglers too. Make no mistake. They'll take your lunch money just as soon as look at you.
They surely will.
That's awesome stuff. So, when exactly did you decide to throw your hat in the ring for the bigger stuff? Do you, now, in this is an honest way, do you fish any of the Bassmaster stuff, or is it just Hobie exclusively?
This past year, I just did Hobie events,
Gotcha.
but I have fished bass before, and I really enjoyed it.
Gotcha.
I personally like the kayak aspect of our tournaments, where uh, it's still a physical sport,
Sure.
which in Bassmaster you get to use motors, which is awesome. I have a motor that I use for fun fishing and for practice,
Yep.
but I just like that little more that added aspect of the physicality of the Hobie series.
Yep.
But if I can get away and do a Bassmaster, I definitely will in the
Sweet.
coming years. Um,
When did
but
you jump in the Hobie boss? When was your first full season in?
um, I fished. I think I just fished one tournament the inception year, when they changed from just the Tournament of Champions to the Boss Series. But then
Right.
the year after that, I fished enough to qualify for the T.O.C. And ever since then, I've uh, I've fished between 3 and 7 tournaments with them for the past 4 seasons.
Nice.
Hmm.
Good stuff, man. So yeah, man, you've paid your dues, man. It's been a long time coming there to get that TOC.
Yeah.
Wasn't as if you just showed up and cleaned house and walked out.
No, I'm still very young, but I've been, I'll talk to guys at tournaments and things, and um, it turns out that I've actually been fishing and kayak fishing for longer than they have, because I've
Yeah,
been fishing since I was born, and then kayak fishing since I was 12 or 13, like I
yeah.
said. So,
Dude, I'm this is I've had 2 full seasons in kayaks. I was in bass boats. It
mhm,
was 2022 that I unloaded my made the decision to park the bass boat. She never came out of winterization. It stayed in my garage. Had a brand new bass boat sitting in there, making payments on it. But we had made the decision on the nonprofit side to go after the kayak because we knew we could facilitate more people in kayaks than I could with my boat.
mhm,
And so we made that switch, and I thought to myself, well, dude, this is taking off, and there's a lot of people loving this. And I'll tell you what, I can say it hands down. So freaking glad we made that decision, man. I absolutely fell in love with fishing again for my kayak compared to my
Mhm.
boat. I mean, my boat was fantastic. I loved it. I loved the companies that I worked with there, with the boat. But there's just something different about the community, about the experience. I had probably a 12, 13 pound catfish take me on a rodeo through the reeds at Wilson, man. It
Mhm.
was unbelievable. I'm
Mhm.
like, good. I had to kick spot lock off because he kept running at my motor there.
Mhm.
In a bass boat, you never appreciate that stuff. I'm power
Mhm.
pulled down or whatever, and I'm anchored in there, and the fish is out there. But yeah, it's a different world for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, it is definitely a more intimate experience. That is why I like kayak fishing as well.
And you mentioned the physical side of it. For a fat old guy like me, that's the one thing why I gravitated more towards, the All American and Bassmaster, just
Mhm.
because I don't have a pedal drive system in my unlimited. I have one for the we use for the nonprofit work, but it takes such a gear swap out for me to do that, to put the pedal drive system compared to the motor. And I made the decision. I know you're in better shape than me. I'm not going to go pay money to prove it. You know what I mean? I'm here to fish, man. Let's do that. So
Mhm.
yeah, the All American being open like that was what drove me, to that. What do you think, man? Do you think eventually will Hobie ever? I mean, they're allowing motors in practice. What's your personal opinion? Do you think they're going to open it up for competition eventually?
Um, I really
Only
can't. I the one of the driving forces behind the Hobie series is to uh display the advantages of each kayak model. Um, and so I really don't know if they will or not. If their
sure,
numbers dwindle down low enough, I would say they'd either have to or they would just disband the series. But in as you've seen in prior years, the numbers are still doing pretty decent.
really
Um,
well.
so I would love it if they did not go to motors because because of what I like
Yeah.
personally for a tournament.
Yep.
But I Bassmaster's doing such a great job there, and maybe there's enough people that want to just kayak fish and not kayak fish with a motor that
Right.
could support Hobie and bass, and it just kind of be two different things.
And it kind of, I mean, it's showing it now, and you got to think that all we're going to do is grow, right? As a sport, it's going to get bigger. We can see some things, help us out there to reduce some cost on travel. That sure would be nice. Um, that's got to kill, a lot of guys. It takes a lot of folks out of being able to make national stuff. Is just the cost of getting through that. So you get into the Hobie deal there. You play with that for 4 years. You're a tournament of champions now, T.O.C. champ, national champ. You win this thing, dude. Some cool stuff on deck here. And you're kind of an anomaly, man. A guy in his 20s, not just thinking about the now, but you're thinking about the future way down the line. Talk us through some of your decisions, man, on what has transpired since taking that the T.O.C.
Yeah, it's kind of been a really cool timeline that has ensued the past couple years. Uh, Earlier this year, I was at my local kayak dealer, and they said they told me that they were retiring, and I've worked with them, for half a decade or so, and been on their team. And they said, so if you're looking for anybody to buy our shop, you know, send them our way. And then my mom and I started talking and ended up deciding to purchase this kayak shop. So we'll be taking over Select Salem Sports, which is the Hobie dealer in Nebraska. And we'll be branching out and carrying a bunch of other things, motors and batteries. Um, and it was kind of bittersweet because we're taking over this business that I'll have to run and manage. And so, at least in the near future, in the couple years coming up, I don't know how many tournaments I'll be able to get to and participate in. So it's kind of felt like it was the end of an era coming down with my tournament fishing. So I qualified for TOC again this year and went there just wanting to give it everything I had to kind of cap off the end of an era, like I said, of just traveling and tournament fishing is mainly what I've done the past 3 or 4 years. And so to win the TOC and that be the end of the era of me being able to travel and just live in my car and kayak fish into this new era was very surreal and very, I mean, you couldn't draw it up better than that. So that was very cool.
Well, and as time goes, and I think you get a look at your, the time management and resources that you have there. You never know. There's something to be said for a guy that is running a store to be out there in the mix still competing, man. There's a value to that, especially if you guys, are have aspirations of being able to work, not just your local area, but maybe a little bit broader with, with
Mhm.
sales and such. There's something to be said for that. There's a value to that for certain. So that's exciting. But you're right, man. It feels like it's like got to turn the page there, and you're almost, God,
Mhm.
do I want to turn? I know I should, but I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to.
Well, everything that happens in God's plan is so timely. Um, it, I'm coming to the point where uh, it's I knew I had to come off the road. I've been pretty much just living, doing tournaments the past few years, not making money, but just being out there competing. And so I knew I was going to have to quit doing that because I'm going to have to grow up and get a real job, which for me, since I have no college or anything like that, it would be, you know, working on a farm, probably because we have a plethora of cornfields around here.
Right?
And so that was, it wasn't depressing. I love hard work and love doing that kind of stuff, but I knew that my fishing would be put on the back burner. So for this kayak shop that I've worked with and have loved for the whole period of me being in kayak fishing to come up for sale and us be able to purchase that, which has been, I've always wanted to own a kayak shop. So everything that's happened to get to this point where we're now officially owners of a kayak shop, I don't have to go get a real job. I can take people out fishing and say that it's for my job. I mean, it just is perfect.
You have a real job, bro. Being a business owner is a hell of a job for sure. But I
Yeah.
love that. I love that you see it. Like that. What's the old saying? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Mm,
And that's where you're at, man. The thing I love is that you've earned it, man. You got there. This isn't something that was thrown at you. You went out and worked for it and snatched it up. It's impressive stuff. Take it from an old guy that has a few miles under his belt there. It's impressive stuff watching you work, dude. That's
well,
good
I,
stuff.
I appreciate that very much.
You bet. You bet. So the name of the kayak shop, is it going to remain the same, or are you guys going to do a name change? What's the name right now?
Right now it is Select Sail and Sports. We're gonna keep it the same, at least for now.
Hmm.
We'll probably, just like tag on kayak shop on some of our signage just so people know. We're not really gonna do the sailboat side of it. The old owners are gonna continue doing like sailboat repairs and stuff.
Yeah.
They're retiring, semi-retiring, so they're gonna be doing a lot of sailing and different things. But we'll be carrying kayaks, maybe running gear. Just I don't know all that we're gonna carry right now, but
Yeah.
I'd like to, just help the outdoorsmen of the Midwest in any way we can. So if you have something in mind that you'd like to see a local shop carry, which I hope to have a really good online store as well at some point.
Nice.
Um, I definitely love to hear any ideas that anyone would have with what they would want to see in a local shop.
clearly you guys are Hobie dealers. We know that. Any other kayak brand right now, or is it just Hobie only?
We actually are branching out and have an order of Crescent kayaks on the way right now,
No kidding.
and that's going to be showing up here pretty soon. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I'm excited to have something. When I was a kid, in high school or junior high rather, and learned about kayak fishing, um, I had an Emotion like Stealth 8 that I was fishing out of, $300, and that's all that I could afford. So I'm very excited to have Crescent in the store to where um, I can hopefully get the youth into kayak fishing around here at a much more manageable um,
Yeah.
rate.
You're covering both ends of the price point spectrum, man, for sure. I mean, that's because not for nothing. I mean, Hobie's not an entry level, rig when it comes to the price side of it.
Mm.
That's you got to be serious getting if you're getting into one of the PAs or Outbacks or whatever. That's a commitment there. So that's cool, man. That way you can help kind of spread that sport around the local. And it's you guys are based right in Kearney, correct?
Yes, sir. Our shop will be in Kearney, but I do tons of tournaments and different things all around Nebraska. So I
Nice,
will be down the road, getting over to Lincoln, Omaha area,
nice.
and I'll be able to do warranty work, service, maintenance, deliver boats. I'll just be flexible to be able to work with people.
That's awesome, man. That's exciting stuff. And it's going to be you and you say is your mother, is she just an investor in the deal there? Is she going to be working the shop with you as well? What's the plan there?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a family affair here. My dad and mom and I are all owners, and
Perfect.
I'll be taking care of, the daily operations and most of the most of what's going to happen. But they're just, I wouldn't be able to do it without their
Sure.
financial support. So I have a very good family base here at home that I'm very
Sounds
thankful for.
Gonna say, man, sounds like you got a solid support structure there, and that's needed. Where it's such a misnomer that people that run around in their lives, I did this on my own, I'm self only made. You lying through your teeth. There's like nobody has ever, gone through and been at a high level success without support of somebody somewhere,
Hmm.
on some level. And so, yeah, that's a kind of a needed commodity. Sounds like you guys got everything you need there. How long has Select Sail and Sports been in business, man? Do you know how long have they had that organization?
Just a little over 3 decades. So
Dang.
they've been making a living off of doing sailboats and kayaks, which you know,
In
sounds like
Kearney,
my kind of
sailboats? What's
they
close by?
they're actually in Omaha,
Okay.
but still, there's not a whole lot of big water. Lots of the sailors are going up to like Calamus,
Okay.
um, and different lakes like that in Nebraska. But yeah, you wouldn't think that you could sell sailboats in the middle of a cornfield and make a living for 30 years.
No kidding. That's awesome stuff. Do you sail at all, dude?
I have not, and I'm
Okay.
very ashamed to say I haven't, uh, because I love stuff like that. I am gonna get the sail kit that Hobie makes for their kayaks and
Oh,
play
yeah.
around with that this next year, so I'm pretty excited to do that.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm the same. There's a lot of rope going on there. There's a lot of big booms swinging around in the air. I can just see me, getting the dexterity of a bear cub with boxing gloves on. I know I'm going in the drink, dude, sooner or
Mhm.
later. No,
Yeah,
give me power. That's right.
yeah.
I feel better off there. Good stuff, man. That is super cool here. To see, the impact piece where you're going. Not really sure on the tournament side of things, but who knows? I mean, sounds like you're just gonna take it as it comes, right?
Yes, sir.
That's I think it's a solid plan for sure. Well, listen, man, we're going to be coming up to right by you at Okoboji. We got to stop there in May. We coming through there. Absolutely would love if you find anywhere in your schedule to be able to jump in with us, man. Let us know. I know you've got a cool connection with Josh Booth, man. Talk to me about that your connection on how you guys have known each other.
Well, I've been in the kayak world in the Midwest for probably about a decade now, and Josh has always been a name that everyone knows, kind of like a Tyler Cole. Um, he's always been very competitive in our tournaments and has done such an amazing job growing the sport around here. And I'm, you know, I've been lucky to call him my friend the past however many years, and very thankful for what he's done for kayak fishing around here.
That is super cool, man. Yeah, he is. I can tell you, I think he might be younger than me by a couple of years, but he is my Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's no
Mhm.
question. I have a skill set in different areas of business and such that I bring, but when it comes to tournament direction and things of that nature, this is my first run at handling. Obviously, it's a lot of management and logistics. That's really the main piece, but there's a lot of ins and outs, and Josh does that. He's an angler's angler, man. He understands what we're looking for as competitors out there. Um, even before I joined the staff, I was all in on the All American 100%. I had actually been in Josh's ear for about a year prior, and I kept telling him, "You let me know if there's anything I can do to help. I would be glad to help the All American. I want to see this thing succeed, man, because I believe in what he's built, and where it's going there. And I have the utmost confidence that if as long as we pay attention to the anglers, listen to the feedback, we're going to be set up for that. Um, don't fall to the special interest, so to speak, and make sure that we're listening to groups as a whole
Mhm.
and keeping that as our number one priority. Make it easier to fish with us and think about the masses as a whole. I think it's going to do really really well. I think it's going to go places for sure.
Yeah, I believe in Josh, and I believe in the All American series, and just a reminder to guys that are fortunate enough to go to a local club tournament or the All American. You know, lots of tournament directors are doing it for free. They are running the entire series. The reason that you're able to go to a kayak tournament series here in the Midwest is because someone is taking time away from their family and their job to put it together. And just make sure that you're patient with them and that you tell them thank you, because people like Colt Volker and Jareth Kaup and um, the people that have come before them in the sticks here in uh, Nebraska, our local club, you know, they've done so much for the sport. Josh Booth, Tyler Cole, everyone that's contributed just, has done it out of the love of kayak fishing, which is so awesome.
Dude, that's such an awesome reminder. It's is the fact that um, would we love to be able to make a career out of doing this? You bet. And eventually, that would be nice to see if we could grow this into making just a respectable living. But as it stands right now with our sport, that's not in the cards. So yeah, right now everything is built on the fact that you got to love what you do, man. You gotta embrace that. You're right. There's a lot of TDs out there that so there's a lot of work that goes into this stuff that I'm seeing now for the first time. I always kind of knew it, but I had never seen it. Now I'm
Mhm,
seeing it like right in front of me, going, "Holy crap, man! There is
mhm.
so many moving parts going on behind the scenes with this, with the different things that it takes to put one of these events on." So,
Yeah.
especially when you're trying to do it right. I mean, you can slap something together and it'll be crap, and
Mhm,
everybody will know it's crap. But if you're trying to do it right, yeah, man, it takes a lot of stuff in there. So
mhm,
good stuff for sure. Yeah, man, we'll be coming through Okoboji. We'll be over in La Crosse. So we got a couple events where we're going to be close by. Of course, we have the classic. We got the big one. That's different from the series for sure, but still, that'll be going on at Truman this year. We've got that going. That's one of the biggest in the Midwest every year. Last year we had
mhm.
196 anglers. Were you at last year's?
I have actually not been to an All American Classic yet, and
No kidding.
that is something that I wanted to get to really
Yeah.
badly. It just
Yeah,
has not worked out with the national schedule that I've been following the past few years. But, hopefully with this new business and not being able to fish as much national, I'll be able to go to the All American Classic here in the next year or two.
it's going to be a blast this year. I can tell you that we're putting together. We're getting a lot of cool things lined up for this one that we're trying to make all come together. Like I said, we were 196 anglers last year. Top prize 10 grand. Arkansas won the team battle there. That was super cool to see because one club basically gets the team trophy out of that there of the five best
Mhm.
from each one. A lot of cool stuff. We're gonna try to make sure we got food and drink will be at the convention center for that bad boy. So should be a lot of good things going on, man. That would be if you get to make it down there, dude. Well, at least one of those nights, dinner on me. We'll
Whoa,
we'll
you
go.
sure don't have to do that, but I appreciate that a lot.
Hell yeah. We'd appreciate it. Having the champ come to town. I mean, that's that's a good deal.
Boy, I don't know. I'm,
Not sure. Is it not sticking yet?
well, it's weird.
Right.
I about the only thing that I remember saying um in the moment when I ended up learning that I'd won is like I don't win tournaments, and I've never been a closer, and so it still just doesn't make sense that I actually won a tournament.
So walk before we let you go, walk us through that last half of that day or that last day. I've not heard the story on this. Is there
Hmm.
what was going on? What was that like the last day of the TOC?
It was like any other tournament day I've ever had, other than, uh, you know, I got that one bite or the couple more bites that you needed at the end of the day. I woke up and knew I had a shot to win, which I've known I had a shot to win at, lots of different tournaments, all the way from the club level to nationals. And I went out and fished the way that I like to fish, throwing a frog and a jerk bait, just fishing the conditions and letting the fish kind of show me where they are and tell me what they want, and just adjusting with them throughout the whole tournament and throughout that day. And then after the leaderboard shut off, the frog bite turned on, and just started getting those upgrades. And it wasn't like a quarter inch, it was like 2 inches here, 3 inches
Dang.
here. And I usually don't check the leaderboard. Um, every once in a while I will, when there's some advantage I could get from knowing, oh, guys really aren't catching them today. I don't have to catch a giant bag. I'm going to go here and try to do this. So I did look at the leaderboard and saw Jordan Marshall had 251 3/4, and or a quarter. I don't remember. But and then, in the afternoon after the leaderboard shut off, I knew that I had surpassed him, but no one else did because they couldn't see it other than the tournament directors. And um, my mom had gone with me to the tournament, so I pedaled back to the ramp, and she was there to pick me up because she had been taking the car to go do some work on her laptop during the day. And I told her what I had, and we both started freaking out and thinking that we had a pretty good shot to win. So it was a pretty awesome moment.
Dude, that is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it was a frog bite too for you. I mean, there's nothing better in my mind. There's just no other. I mean, I love many different presentations, but frog and top water, I mean, that is just the ultimate, especially when you can start jamming some hogs with
Hmm.
that. And that had to just feel awesome.
It well, the I caught a 21 3/4 on the third day, which was my kicker for the TOC. And I had she had come up and nudged my frog 2 times, earlier, about a half an hour and an hour before I actually caught her. And so I knew she was in the mat, but I did not know she was that big. And I came back later and she came all the way out of the mat and inhaled it. And so, yeah, to be able to visually see those last fish that I had on my cart
Right.
come out and eat the frog like that was pretty awesome.
Sharking it.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, man. That is awesome, dude. What a awesome way to end that thing out. That's they say it when it's your time, it's your time. Uh, our sport, more than anything, it takes a perfect storm to come together to manifest, one of those wins. It is
Mhm.
uh, my buddy and I were just talking about this last night on the live podcast with on the TPO, which was you think about in tournament fishing, the goat, right? The hands down the greatest tournament angler based on the stats, Kevin Van Dam.
Mhm.
And yet KVD finished and retired his career, I want to say with under 30, like maybe 28 major wins.
Mhm.
I mean, what's that tell you? I mean, the guy fished professionally since like 1992.
Mhm.
Okay. And so he goes, 30 years, whatever in the sport and, finishes out with, under 30. I mean, that is unreal. That's maybe one major win a year,
Mhm.
almost if he's lucky. That just tells you how difficult it is in the sport. And kayak angling, competitive angling is no different. It takes such a perfect thing to come together. So that's a cool story, man, to see it all play like that for you.
Yeah.
What's your approach? Normally, like you said, you take it a little more business than just like say a local event there. But what's what's the mental side for you? What's that look like? How you prepare?
Um, you know, the the prep, I don't really say, "Okay, I'm doing this to prepare for kayak my kayak fishing tournament." I I'm just kind of on a pursuit to be the best son, the best friend, the best person that I can be in my everyday life. So, for just a little bit of motivation each day, I think, you know, it by doing this task, I'm bettering myself and it's to be the best kayak fisherman that I can be. It's going to help me in that tournament. So for the past decade, that's just kind of been my mindset and the driving force to help me grow up and mature as a person, which um, to for the Lord to give me something that I can focus on and chase has been incredible. And um, everything I do from working out to map study to whatever it is all tied into going to these tournaments and trying to win.
That's awesome, man. Rooted in faith. There's no question about it. But it's a constant drive forward. That's uh that's a I mean, I don't know where if that came from just family or if that also came from influence from being involved with kayak jack stuff also. I mean, did it come from all those areas there? Is it kind of a melting pot or was this something that came right from home?
Yeah, the Lord has always been with our family, and
That's awesome, man.
I feel like He's always been a part of me, and so just the walk with Him through my life so far has He's been at the forefront in kayak fishing, in my family life, and my friend life, work life, everything. He just, um, that is my daily life, really.
Super cool, man. That is awesome there. Kudos to mom and dad. You did it right, mom and dad. You
Mhm.
got one through there. Awesome stuff. Well, listen, brother, I'm going to go ahead and let you go here. We can't thank you enough, dude, for coming by and chatting with us here and talking about some of the cool stuff coming down the line there. Besides the shop, and you taking on that new role there. Anything else you got in the works you wanted to let people know about, or is that really the big deal that's going to be taking a ton of your time there?
Well, that's kind of the major thing is the new ownership of the business, but there's going to be so many other um, legs tied into this business. I want to have a really good YouTube channel through that I can post content about just basic kayak fishing. So you can, if you look up Select Sail and Sports anywhere, you'll be able to find the YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, which I will get all that built and be posting more to it now that the ownership has changed. And I love kayak fishing and this community so much, and I want to help it in any way I can.
Right.
So we're going to start doing some podcasts like what you're doing for the All American series. We'll
Nice.
be doing for our local club, the Sticks, and we'll be highlighting different anglers and different winners and what's going on. And we're going to hopefully be super involved in the high school fishing around here, which there's a little bit of it, but it's not structured very well. And I'd like to make more opportunities for the youth in Nebraska and work with Kayak Jack on making more available to get outside and to get fishing. So there's just
Good stuff.
lots of ideas I have right now that hopefully will come to fruition in some way, shape, or form
Hell
in the
yeah, man.
future.
That's exciting. We got the Select Sail and Sports up here. It's at Select Sail, folks at home, folks with the All American. Make sure you get out there, give them a like, give them a follow, and be watching our man Stormy here with anything on YouTube coming down the pike there.
Yeah.
So that way we can make sure that we're following and supporting. It's one of the best possible ways we can do that. Little subscribes here and there go a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool stuff, man. You're not too far from me. I got to say, you're like said, probably what, 7 hours or whatever, 6, 7 hours away from where I'm at here in the metro area. So I have a feeling, as our schedules permit, I would love to get a chance to get up there and do some content with it, go fishing and just hang out, check out the shop. I mean, that's going to be a super
Mm-hmm.
cool deal. I'll bring in a new canoe so you can see about probably something you should be looking at, picking up new canoe as a line. I mean, I'm just saying, hunting and fishing, that's kind of our thing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I just love kayaks in general, and
Yeah,
every kayak has its strong points.
sure.
And as long as you're in a kayak and getting out on the water and fishing or hunting or just paddling around, that's good with me.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Listen, man, thank you so much, folks. Oh, make sure you smashing that subscribe button if you're following us here on YouTube. Like I said, we'll be doing this twice a month. So no major commitment there, but hopefully we'll be bringing you some cool stuff. If you got comments, questions, anything along the line, different episodes you'd like us to do here with the Dock Talk, throw it down in this video here. Let us know, man. We're here to provide what we can. Brady, thank you so very much for being who you are, doing what you're doing for our sport, what you're doing for your local community, and for taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang with us, dude. Seriously appreciate it.
Thank you for talking with me this evening, man. I really enjoy meeting new people.
Awesome stuff. Well, hang with us here after the exit from. I'll chat with you here, folks. We appreciate you. Make sure the likes, follows, all the subscribes, all the good stuff. Tight lines, everybody. Take care.